My friends, good day. This weekend, there was an extremely brutal collapse of cryptocurrencies. Some cryptocurrencies crashed, wiped out, and completely ruined people. Thousands and thousands of people who were sometimes millionaires found themselves overdrawn, completely wiped out in just a few minutes. Let me tell you about it. So, on that Saturday, there was an announcement from China and a response from Trump. China announced that starting from November 1st, it will introduce export controls on all products to all destinations. So, their statement is a little bit general, but we know who it's targeting. It's targeting the United States. What this means today is that China is a bit fed up with American restrictions. You should know that American restrictions are so complicated, you need a PhD in restrictology to understand them. They're contained in volumes and volumes in databases that are held by various administrations. It can impact countries, companies, individuals, products, and services. For example, you might see that you're not allowed to lend to a certain company for more than 30 days. You can't sell a television to a company in that country. It's completely mind-boggling, with huge fines at stake, which actually prevents the international trade of products, complicates things, and creates additional costs. Because people are always afraid of getting fined, and sometimes some even prefer not to get involved at all. In particular, a number of restrictions that target China. And this isn't new, it dates back to Trump's first presidency. Except that today China has decided to respond. Just to give you an example of something completely stupid. There's a rumor going around today. Trump wants to ban Chinese planes from flying over Russia. Yes, you heard right. He wants to ban Chinese planes coming to the United States from flying over Russia. The United States has barred Russian planes from its airspace. So, and also various European countries are under the same restrictions. So what did Russia do? In response, it banned flights over its territory. So many European and American airlines cannot fly over Russian territory. So what situation are they in? Do they have to take longer, costlier routes? So what Trump wants to do is tell the Chinese, you don't have the right to fly over Russian territory. And if one of your planes flies over Russian territory, it won't be allowed to land in the United States. So you see, there's control. And I think that the world, and that's why the Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa are coming together. That's why de-dollarization is moving forward. Because the world is fed up. The world is fed up with this completely unfair game. We're fed up with people, whoever gets there, Trump or others, reaches the White House and quickly imposes restrictions. And often it turns into business. We'll get there. Trump also responded, and this has indeed revived the specter of economic war between China and the United States, and this time an extremely sharp turn. With 100% customs duties or tariffs, as they say, on Chinese products, in addition to the existing 30%. So, if you will, the problem comes from the war. Economic. Now, here's what happened. In the half hour before Trump's announcement, there was an account that had just been opened, that had never made a transaction. Because you have to know one thing about crypto transactions. They correspond to addresses. There are addresses, wallets, right? And actually, those addresses are transparent. You don't necessarily know who the address belongs to. But the transactions are recorded on the blockchain and you can observe them. There are plenty of tools or websites where you enter a wallet, you enter an address, and they show you the transactions. So the transactions are public. So what happened? Half an hour before Trump's announcement, we have someone who had just created a wallet on which there was no trading, who suddenly short sold. That means betting on a drop, short selling astronomical amounts of crypto. That means someone knew it would collapse. Half an hour later, Trump is announcing his response to the Chinese restrictions. What are the cryptos doing? They're losing value, so they're going to crash suddenly. That account, which had short sold, short selling on the market means selling a product you don't necessarily own, but that you'll buy back later. When the price drops, it means you're betting on prices going down. If you want to buy a car for 30,000 euros, by month's end, it will be worth just 25,000 euros. Because I know the manufacturer is going to lower their prices or something like that. I tell you, I'll sell it to you I don't have it, but I'll sell it to you. Give me 30,000 euros and I'll deliver it by month's end. Then I'll buy it for 25,000 euros. I'll give it to you. I keep 5,000 in my pocket. Profit, you see. The risk is if it sells for 32,000 by month's end, I still have to buy it for 32,000 and lose 2,000 giving it to you. So actually it's a short selling system. It exists in a lot of markets. So what happened is that this account sold short. Half an hour later, Trump made his announcement. So when the cryptos crashed, what happened is that a lot of people couldn't get out of their losing positions. So a lot of people started rushing to Binance and other systems, other crypto trading platforms. So they started trying to log in, but they couldn't. Stop loss orders exist. They're also used in the stock market. You set it at a certain level, saying if it reaches that level, I sell. It has a lot of pitfalls. It's not a protection, let's say. It's not a perfect protection because sometimes there are crooks who can make the prices fluctuate to trigger stop losses on purpose and wipe people out. For example, you might have, let's say, a stock that you bought at $100 per share. You set a $1.90 stop loss. So you get to the end of the day, it started at $100, it ended at 110, yet your stop loss was triggered and you sold at 85. Okay, why? Because the price fluctuated, and often today with market manipulations, those who master volatility, they're the ones making money. So now here's our problem. Is that we know someone close to Trump had the information and did what we call insider trading. He committed insider trading. Someone anticipated Trump's decision and acted accordingly. Worse, this has happened before. I should have made this video a long time ago because way before this crypto story this weekend. Well, there were very strong indicators that in recent months before every important decision by Trump, you can feel it. It's not just that you can feel it, you can see that there are huge positions being taken in the market, huge and suspicious, and always in the right direction. We know he's going to impose it. It's like someone knows they're going to impose, for example, an embargo on a certain product. Then we know he's going to turn around, he's going to lift the embargo. That's why he's so unpredictable. He imposes an embargo, then he turns around, he makes a decision, then he cancels it. But actually, there are people who know what they're doing and constantly position themselves in the markets, always correctly, and they make money. The portfolio that shorted cryptocurrencies, it's estimated about $90 million in just a few minutes. And it's believed there are names. There's a name going around. It's believed to be Barron Trump, so Trump's son. I think it could be Trump's son, or it could be other people who are extremely close to him. In any case, at this speed, by the end of Trump's term, we could have his son, who will be just as rich or even richer than Elon Musk, just with insider craving. You need to know one thing. In France, for example, there's the stock market regulator. In the United States, there's an equivalent system, the stock market regulator, which is called the Securities and Exchange Commission. The Securities and Exchange Commission is a commission that oversees the markets. When it sees suspicious movements, for example, insider trading or price or volatility manipulations, it can intervene. But here's the problem. In the crypto markets, it's the jungle. There's none of that. I mean, on the crypto markets, they're not as regulated as, for example, the NASDAQ, These are markets that escape all control, so it can be as well. This kind of repeated incidents can also prompt the authorities to say, yes, we should regulate. The issue is they're regulating now. Cryptos completely lose all interest. The other thing is that there's really something to see. It's that following this, a lot of scammers started contacting people who were desperate on Twitter. On Twitter and elsewhere, people said things like, I'm blocked, I lost, I can't access my wallet. Some people contacted them claiming to be company support and offering help. Come to the chat, click here on this link and give me some information. We'll talk. And then I'll help you unlock your funds, help you recover your funds or access your account and so on. And so, exactly, people who are panicked, people who are under emotional stress, who sometimes haven't slept for nights in a row and so on, they can end up being tricked by scammers who keep a cool head and then end up losing the rest of their the rest of their funds. There is one thing you need to know. The leaders, children, or offspring have always been a unique type. Remember 2009 during Sarkozy's era? When there was his son, Jean Sarkozy, 23 years old, a law student of his state. He wanted to make him president of the public establishment for the development of La Défense. It was a system, and I think still exists today. It was a system for developing the La Défense district. You see what I mean? A system with real estate and lots of money wants to put a 23-year-old there just because his name is Sarkozy. Okay, if you look, you can Google the Kojo Annan case. Kojo Annan is the son of Kofi Annan, who was a former Secretary General of the United Nations. Well, he made a lot of money. There are a lot of articles in the mainstream media. He made a lot of money with the sanctions. He was getting money from companies that were linked to the sanctions. Sanctions are always a business. I talk about it in my book, The Great Betrayals. And actually here we have Baron Trump and other people in his circle who are making a lot of money by crushing a lot of people. And finally, how come that sometimes losses of around 10%, well, end up completely destroying someone's fortune? I'll tell you, in fact, there's what we call a lever system. A lever system is this: you come to the market with money, with your own money, but they're going to lend you money so you can act. They'll add extra money for you. For example, let's say you have a leverage of 10, you go in with 1,000 euros. At that point, the market lets you intervene up to 10,000 euros, 10 times your stake. You can buy and sell for 10 times your stake. Why would you do it? Well, you do it because it allows you to move quickly. Yeah, right. You have 1,000 euros, you buy 10,000 in crypto. Let's say it takes 10%. How much do you have now? You have 11,000 euros. So you see that you've doubled your money because now you're selling. Then there's the 1,000 euros you invested, which was there at the start. Plus you have the 1,000 in profit. You've doubled your stake to 2,000 euros for a 10% increase. You see? Whereas if you didn't have leverage, if you bought for 1,000 euros, you'd get 1,100, just 100 euro profit. So you see, it's an accelerator leverage. But in the other direction, it can go much faster. You buy for 10,000 euros. Okay. Knowing that you only have 1,000 euros of your own in there. What's going on? Suppose the market moves the wrong way. Let's say it loses 10%. You now have a 9,000. What is the marketplace you're on going to do? You'll get a margin call, which means sell now and pay attention. Your own money? Well, it was vaporized right now at this point. So you need to take action. You have to put money in, you have to inject money, you have to cover your positions. So you inject money. In return for funding, they let you continue without interfering. But let's say you don't have any money because there was too sharp a drop. You used high leverage. If you have no money to invest, do you know what they do? They'll sell automatically and say, whoa, we don't want that. We don't want you to lose the money we lent you. We're going to liquidate your position. So automatically, by authority, without your control, your positions are liquidated. Once your positions are liquidated, all you can do is cry because your money is gone. So I was in the stock market. There was a time when I was trading. I was using 5 times leverage. And I guarantee you that with 5 times leverage, already you get scared because you multiply every percentage increase or decrease by 5. It can go very fast. Wait, let me tell you something. In crypto markets, leverage can exceed 100x. Okay, 100x leverage, it moves extremely fast. You can have someone who comes in with 10,000 euros who can end up with an operating capacity of around 1 million. But just a 1% market move in the wrong direction is enough. He's done. You can see how people ended up wiped out because they got in with a lot of money right from the start, their entire fortune. Even though even the most who are bold advise putting 5 to 10% of your savings or investments into crypto and no more. There are people who put everything into crypto. And on top of that, they use leverage. Not everyone has 100x, but leverage is increasing. until the point where they're operating at 50, 75, even 80 times their own capital. And at that point, you can imagine that if there's a loss of, I don't know, 10% in just a few minutes, they're completely liquidated, they're totally ruined, there's nothing left. That's it. That's what happened, unfortunately. So, yes, it's something to watch out for because we don't know what they'll set their sights on tomorrow. Tomorrow, it could be oil or gas, on other forms of energy, on wheat. You can't know on the stock market. They've done that with commodities several times recently. Now it's cryptocurrencies, and the question is, what will they do tomorrow? So there you have it, my friends. We live in a world of crooks. All right. Please read my book, Astrology, link in the description. It's easily available on Amazon. But actually, if you want more and more, we realize that, well, we know it without realizing, but it's just a way of speaking that the system is more and more rigged. It means we're not playing a card game or a game of chess in which we are equals. No, we're playing a game with some who are more equal than others. That means with some who manipulate the rules of the game however they want and with complete impunity. So there you go. You can finish all that fast. Then bam. Personally, I haven't lost anything in crypto because I got out of crypto a few years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. What made me get out of crypto wasn't the value going up. I know that value goes up and down over time. It increases, it decreases, all that. But what made me get out was the volatility. There's an extremely unpredictable volatility. You can put money in today. In a month, you could have doubled your money or you could have lost half of it. Then you just need the nerve to hold on and hope it rises again. Afterward, it might rise in 1 to 3 years or not at all. There's no way to know. So that's it. It's that spiel side, as the Germans say, that didn't really convince me. That's why I'm pretty far from the crypto market, even though I keep watching it. I might even launch a coin myself. I'll tell you about it sometime. I'm working on programming a smart contract and all that. I can launch coins from the command line, cryptos from the command line. I can send them to you on Ether and so on. I know all the internal mechanisms very well, but it's just not something I get into, not something I touch with money I'm not ready to lose. It's a casino, literally. There you go, my friends. So I'll let you see, right? Thank you for watching this video up to this point. About the last video, there was some kind of photo bombing, as they say. I was there. I was in the sea at the beach, and I chose a really empty shot. I got comfortable and watched. No one was there. The sea and white sand were visible. It was perfect. I start talking about Macron and all that. And then suddenly a fisherman shows up, a bride, photographers, someone. I realized they didn't listen to anything I said in the video because there were so many side stories happening in the background. There you go. Thank you for watching this video so far. Please take care of yourselves as we are living in a time that is extremely, extremely difficult. See you very soon.